good to have your company. Very much appreciate you choosing to make Rhema part of your Tuesday morning. We'll certainly make it worth your while. Love to get your thoughts, your comments, your feedback as well to anything happening in your world. 8168, the number to text. Start your message with the first word, comments. My pleasure to welcome to the show somebody who is, a contributor in a different way. He's a regular contributor to the show, although this is the first time I've actually chatted with him on the show. Matt Burrows from CBA. Kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Kia ora, thanks for having me.
Now, we'll get into the details of how you are a sort of contributor to the show in just a moment, but part of the team at CBA heading up a ministry, I describe it as, called XVox. What's that about, Matt? What does that involve?
Yeah, so I guess part of it is I come from CBA. So CBA is all about sharing the heart of the Christian faith, but through mainstream media.
Yep.
So very similar kaupapa to what Rhema does, but we kind of focus on that kind of unchurched group of people, I guess.
Yep.
And so the initiative that I run, XVox, is all about kind of living out that mission, but particularly in the kind of the news media field. So we work a lot with mainstream media outlets to deepen their coverage.
Yep.
So we provide contributors to them. We've got a stable of about 90 different contributors who have expertise in a lot of different areas. And we're able to provide them with opportunities in mainstream media to talk about the things they're experts in from a faith perspective, and just trying to deepen those conversations about faith.
That's so important, really, because honestly, for people in mainstream media, they may not have a faith background. In fact, they may not know anybody with a faith background. So they're writing, they're reporting from their own perspective.
Yep.
For you to actually come alongside and go, you know what, if you wanted a different perspective on this, we could provide you with some commentators, some sources here. And hey, even the best journalist says, hey, look, happy for the help, happy for somebody pointing me in the direction of a good story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's helped by the way the media environment is now. So I think the state of journalism in particular, a lot of news outlets going under or cutting jobs.
Yep.
And so it's really hard to do a good job nowadays. There's just a lot on journalists' plate. So wherever we can help out with that and kind of say, let's take some of the burden off you. I've got these great commentators who can contribute in all these different ways and kind of give you that depth and variety that you're looking for. That seems to be really well received by mainstream media.
And also, I suppose, developing the relationships with journalists as well to say, hey, people of faith aren't the enemy on here. Maybe you have a different perspective on life, but we can work together, building relationships, providing reliable sources there. Also an opportunity to perhaps change some stereotypes within secular media about what Christianity is about, and hey, maybe introduce them to some people with faith.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really key motivation for us. I think there are key misperceptions of Christians from the secular world, from the media. Those being, that we're anti-science or anti-LGBT or whatever it is, just these kind of ideas, stereotypes, like you said, that exist that cast Christians in a particular light. And what I try and do, obviously, there's a lot of variety of thought and theology and ways of doing faith within Christendom in this country. And so what I try and do, it's not like I'm trying to put out a single voice of like, this is what Christians believe, but trying to capture some of the depth and breadth of Christianity in this country. And just say there's more, the way an exclusive brethren sees the world is very different to the way an evangelical sees the world, or a Catholic or an Anglican. So just trying to capture some of that variety and the different ways of seeing faith and the different expressions of faith.
Pushing beyond the stereotypes, and also, I suppose, an opportunity for Christians to be in the news and not for the bad reasons. Because there's enough of that out there as well. Can you give us some examples of what you see to be some success in that space, where you got some media coverage or perhaps a newspaper article? What does that look like for you? I mean, throughout 2025, what are some highlights, Matt?
Yeah, I think one of the it's a really interesting one because, like you say, there is a lot of negativity around, and actually media is sort of geared towards negativity. It's just one of their news values.
Yeah.
And so we have to play by those rules in a lot of ways. And so a lot of the things we are speaking into are inherently negative. But what we're trying to do is trying to kind of provide a fuller picture. So an example for you would be the Abuse and Care Royal Commission last year that came out. The government apology on November 9th last year. And so we were able to provide commentary around what the church was actually doing and all these different, denominations were doing to make sure that they were doing right by future survivors, by those who had already been victimized. We got theologians, we'd got people who, were experts in spiritual abuse, sexual abuse within church context, and were able to kind of provide that fuller picture of what churches were actually doing. Because I think until that point, there had just been a lot of talk about, obviously the church had done a lot of negative things in this space, but actually we were able to talk about that and yes, acknowledge that 100%, but also talk about that going forward, how do we remedy that? How are the church actively remedying that?
Now, that is so important, and hey, congratulations on the article, because it's, you don't want to be too defensive on this, because honestly, sometimes Christians are the bad guys, but we also need to be the people who able to identify things that are wrong and broken, and to have grown-up conversations about how we can do better in that space instead of just closing ranks and being defensive, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's part of it too. Is one of the motivations for writing that article was just saying we need to stop hiding. We need to stop pretending that we're a bastion of light and nothing else, and that we never are guilty of wrongdoing. Part of the strength of the article, I think, is just talking about the fact that we acknowledge that there was sin here, and that and I think God calls us to repentance, and that was kind of what that article was doing, was showing the church repenting and trying to fix things that have been broken.
Matt, this is an incredible ministry that you have, and hey, I certainly appreciate it. Behind the scenes, about once every fortnight, you're providing me with somebody who can speak on a topical issue. And again, you're not in the spotlight on this one. In some ways, there's it's not promotion for CBA or Xfox. You're just helping people get the story out there. I really value and appreciate that. And hey, thank you for what you do in the media space, putting Christians in a more positive light and breaking out of that stereotype. I know that this time of the year is crazy busy for the guys at CBA, but hey, really, really value and appreciate what you do. As I say, this is a ministry, and it's a ministry that people that believe that should be a Christian voice in media and secular media. This is something that people can support as we head towards Christmas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you would like to give towards what we do, I think we do really good work, not just in my own ministry, but CBA more widely. I don't know if your listeners are aware, but we are on News Talk ZB for the entirety of Christmas Day, and we're able to speak quite explicitly about the gospel message on mainstream media. About 300,000 people tune in across that day, so it's a huge opportunity to meet people who haven't heard the gospel message, with that message that gives them hope and light and love. And so it's an exceptional opportunity. So if you'd like to get behind it, you can go to cba.org.nz.
Hey, a wonderful work that you do, Matt. Nice to chat with you on the program today. Certainly looking forward to continuing this partnership and working together in the new year. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.